Welcome to the exam sale video on designing and implementing cloud-native applications using Microsoft Azure Cosmos DB. This exam is designed to test your skills in designing, implementing, and maintaining cloud-native applications using Azure Cosmos DB. In this video, we will go over the syllabus of the exam and what you can expect to learn. The exam is divided into 5 domains, each with a specific percentage of questions and a focus on a particular area of Azure Cosmos DB. The domains are: design and implement data models, 35%, maintain an Azure Cosmos DB solution, 25%, optimize an Azure Cosmos DB solution, 20%, design and implement data distribution, 10%, and integrate an Azure Cosmos DB solution, 10%. Let's start with the first domain, design and implement data models. This domain focuses on the structural design of containers, documents, and partition keys for high-scale NoSQL workloads. You will learn about data modeling and partitioning, including how to identify data access patterns, design a schema for a NoSQL database, select an appropriate partition key, implement a synthetic partition key strategy, design for multi-tenant isolation, and evaluate the impact of choosing between cross-partition and single partition queries. Within the design and implement data models domain, you will also learn about server-side programming. This includes how to design and implement stored procedures for multi-document ACID transactions, develop pre-triggers and post-triggers for data validation and side effects, implement user-defined functions, UDFs, to extend SQL query language logic, manage execution context and resource limits for server-side scripts, and handle transactional failures and rollbacks within JavaScript logic. Next, let's move on to the second domain, maintain an Azure Cosmos DB solution. This domain focuses on operational management, including security, monitoring, backup, and data movement. You will learn about security and permissions, including how to configure Azure Active Directory, Azure AD Role-Based Access Control, RBAC, implement and rotate master keys and resource tokens for authentication, configure network security, enable always encrypted for sensitive client-side data protection, and review and configure control plane versus data plane permissions. Within the Maintain an Azure Cosmos DB solution domain, you will also learn about monitoring and backup. This includes how to configure diagnostic settings and analyze logs using Azure Monitor and Log Analytics, monitor request unit, RU consumption and identify throughput bottlenecks, design and implement backup strategies, perform point-in, time recovery, PITR, for data loss scenarios, and configure alerts based on performance metrics and availability thresholds. Moving on to the third domain, optimize an Azure Cosmos DB solution. This domain focuses on performance tuning of indexing, queries, and resource utilization for cost efficiency. You will learn about indexing and query optimization, including how to customize indexing policies, implement spatial, composite, and full-text indexes, analyze query execution plans and metrics, optimize SQL queries, and evaluate the trade-offs between indexing every property and write latency. Within the Optimize an Azure Cosmos DB solution domain, you will also learn about throughput and cost management. This includes how to provision throughput, implement serverless mode for unpredictable or low-traffic workloads, manage throughput at the database level versus the container level, interpret the 429 request rate large error and implement retry logic, and estimate and monitor costs for multi-region and high-availability deployments.